BC Hockey Night in Canada, brought to you by Molson Brewery, brewers of Molson, Canadian, bringing you the finest in hockey broadcasting for over 25 years. Canadian Tire. There's a lot more to Canadian Tire than tires. Canadian General Electric. We bring good things to life. Esso. You make us better. And by Ford of Canada. At Ford, quality is job one. Driving is believing.
In his playing days, Al Arbour was respected as a hard-hitting, shot-blocking defenseman who played 17 years in the NHL with 4 different clubs. Jacques Lemaire was with the Montreal Canadiens all of his career, 12 seasons, a dynamite skater, and a prolific scorer. 15 years ago, as players, Al Arbour and Jacques Lemaire faced each other in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Arbour winding down his career with the St. Louis Blues, and Lemaire still a hotshot scorer for the Montreal Canadiens. Today, Arbour a veteran coach, Lemaire a rookie, and as coach, Arbour has been to the Stanley Cup Finals and won the Cup 4 different times. Here in the offices of the New York Islanders, there's a constant reminder that the Islanders are indeed Stanley Cup champions. This enlargement is of a photo of a victory celebration taken May 19th, 1981. The Islanders had just defeated Minnesota. Some of the players on the ice, well, Mike Bossy, there's Ken Morrow, the specialist in overtime goals. A couple of the younger Islanders, Rolly Melanson and Billy Carroll, were on the ice. And up here, Anders Kaler and Langevin, Trottier, and I believe that may be Dennis Potvin holding aloft the Stanley Cup. And look, over there, Billy Smith skating away. A great star in all of these Stanley Cup victories for the New York Islanders. They are the champions. They've won 4 Stanley Cups in a row. Hello again, everybody. I'm Brian McFarlane, your host for tonight's game. The Islanders would like to make it 5 consecutive Stanley Cups and tie the record held by Montreal. But they don't dare look ahead to the Edmonton Oilers just yet. They have one major hurdle to overcome, and that comes tonight against the team that holds the record, the Montreal Canadiens. So the veteran coach relies on his veteran goaltender, Billy Smith, while the rookie coach depends on his rookie, Steve Penny, to keep the Hab hopes alive. This Stanley Cup playoff game begins in just a moment.
There is no doubt that the fans here at the capacity-packed Nassau Coliseum are expecting their team to win tonight and advance for the 5th straight year into the Stanley Cup Finals. But as far as the Montreal Canadiens are concerned, nobody will say for sure, because after all, the Canadiens weren't supposed to be here on the 5th of May. They weren't supposed to beat the Bruins. They weren't supposed to advance past the Nordiques. So as far as Montreal is concerned, there is a little bit of hesitancy. Nobody really for sure wants to say that this or that will happen, because after all, the Canadiens have been the surprise team of the 1984 Stanley Cup playoffs. We shall see tonight. They have their backs to the wall, as the old cliche goes, and it won't be easy. But nothing is for sure right now. As far as some other opinions are concerned about what might happen here tonight, let's join Brian now, and with him is Gary Dornhofer.
Well, thank you, Dick. And Gary, I know you believe a fast start is imperative for Montreal tonight, but how are they going to do that? Because the Islanders also believe in fast starts and winning at home. 39-9 since 1980, winning on home ice.
Brian, if I knew that, I'd be behind the bench. I don't know. I just think that you have to dig deep. You know, Montreal have come this far, and I'm sure to a player they're saying, look at guys, we've come this far, let's do something about it. Let's not go out easily if that's going to be the case. Jacques Lemaire, I'm sure, has his team pumped up. They're going to be ready to play. 5 games have been decided by the team that scores the opening goal. They have won the contest. For Montreal to win tonight, they have to score the first goal.
Okay, Gary, we'll let you go to work, and right now we'll join Danny Gallivan in the broadcast booth.
And the teams are on the ice. And as Dick alluded to the fact that the fans are very excited. You know, a week ago tonight, the Islander fans were solemn, dispirited, with their team down 2-0 to the Canadiens. You could read a facial expression that said, indeed, the drive for 5 will stall against Montreal. But after last Saturday's victory, buoyancy and bounce and great lead are the obvious traits of the Islanders fans. They're announcing the lineup changes. And we'll continue on talking here. We'll give you those changes in detail in just a moment or two. And hanging majestically and proudly over center ice here at the Coliseum, you saw the Stanley Cup champion banners. They have 4 of them. 80, 81, 82, and 83. Billy Smith just got a big hand. And there's a man who works on that gum just as much as Toe Blake used to do. And chewing gum for Toe Blake with his immense coaching talent. He went along for 5 Stanley Cups. This man has tremendous talent as a coach. And as he hitches up his trousers, he hopes he's hitching them up for a victory here in the 6th game for the Islanders against Jacques Lemaire's Canadiens, so that then the Islanders will go against the Edmonton Oilers in a 2nd consecutive Stanley Cup final. And that is a tremendous hockey team that waits out there in Edmonton. An explosive hockey team. And you can rest assured that that Edmonton Oilers team learned a lot from last year's experience. And now we're going to have O Canada as we greet Dick Irvin and Dornhofer athletically jumping into the booth.
Playing of the national anthem every night here at the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island. And the fans were informed tonight. The referee in charge, Dave Newell. The linesman working the game, veterans Ron Finn and Leon Stickle. Steve Penny will start for the Canadiens. He has started every game and played all but 32 minutes of this Canadiens-Islanders-Wales conference final. While at the other end of the rink, during this hockey game tonight, Billy Smith will establish another individual goaltender playoff record. The most minutes in playoff competition. He already has the most wins and the most games. And Gary, the atmosphere in this building is, as usual, exciting.
Exciting place to play, Dick. The fans, they get into it in a hurry. They want to see their Islanders go for that 5 Stanley Cups. And that's all they talked about today in New York with the Islander Hockey Club, how they were going to demolish the Canadiens. Well, we'll wait and see. Danny?
And it is underway. The Islanders with Potvin on the left side. Jumping to the attack, and they cleared into the corner, coming in on the right side. Flatley was belted on the boards by Hamel. It comes right out in front. And the Canadiens, Tremblay took a peek over his left shoulder, gave it a Walter. And a rising shot. Tremblay in there trying to clear it against Potvin. Here's Walter. Walter is knocked to the ice by Potvin. Tremblay with it. And the Canadiens now to the attack. They love to get that first goal. Tremblay takes a shot. It's blocked. Now Green pumped it back in there. Canadiens are on it. Mondeau to the other side. And Flatley down on the right wing for the Islanders. In over the line. Draped in on the boards by Hamel. Gilbert trying to clear it out. Now it's centered in front by Cabot. A shot. And it's blocked by Naslund. Naslund on the left side. He's going to try to get in there. But Morrow played him beautifully. Islanders with Goring, a great playoff competitor and a very productive player in the playoffs. He lost it down into Canadiens territory. And there is not a frequency of whistles. The result that they're changing players as the play goes on. Robinson around the net up on the left side. Naslund gets it to the line. Gillies plays it in there. Here is Naslund, a predominant, outstanding figure for the Canadiens, trying to center it. Morrow laying it on the side, pinching in is Ludwig, and the shot off Smith's stick. Now the Islanders try to negotiate a pass. It goes all the way down the ice. And it is icing against the Islanders.
From Long Island, this is Stanley Cup 84 on CBC.
You know, prior to games, you've seen Dave Newell talking to the two captains, and what he does is go over what the players can do and can't do. The other night, you remember, Walter running into Billy Smith. That's something that the referee had talked about prior to the game, and he said he would call it, and he did exactly that.
And the task facing the Canadiens to win this series is monumental. But then, off the top of my head, I shouldn't do it off the top of my head. I have trouble when I get inside my head. But I think in 71 they were down 3-2. They won the 6th game. That was in Montreal. Then the big victory in Boston. Here's Gainey coming in on that left side. And he was bumped with authority by the rookie Denis. The Islanders, Tonelli, playing it through center. Flatley is trying to control it. Gives it a Potvin, the shot. And Penny had that taped all the way. There's Tonelli. He's big. He's rugged. He's tough. He comes off the boards. Potvin is getting set. He fired it. Blocked by Robinson. Tremblay coming away. Tremblay. It's called back. Interference is the call.
So at the 2:50 mark of this first period, Dave Newell calls the first penalty. The Canadiens will be shorthanded. Interference call made on Craig Ludwig of the Canadiens at 2:50. Islanders on the power play.
And an opportunity for the Islanders to get that coveted first goal of the game, and it's whipped in there by Potvin. Coming in from the left side is Gilbert. Into the corner. Naslund shoots it along the boards, and it's out over the boards. The Islanders have Bossy on with Potvin. Gilbert. Janssen. And number 21, Sutter. Janssen. Clearing it in. Sutter is coming from the other side. Will he get an opportunity to clear it out? He gives it to Gilbert. Gilbert takes a look. Back it goes to Janssen over on this side to Potvin. Back in front, ready for the Bossy. He shoots. An enormous save there by Penny. Penny was coming down to that side. And you got to do it quickly when you're against Bossy.
Well, that's exactly the way to set up the power play. You notice how quickly the passes were made. They had the Canadiens scrambling out of position.
And we are down to 55 seconds left in the penalty. Here's Gillies, and his pass goes off the stick of Carbonneau. Carbonneau is out there as a penalty killer with Gainey, and they are two of the very best in the business. Green is on defense with Hamel. Now the Canadiens making changes. Potvin clearing it. The Janssen in over the line. Takes a look. Where is he going to pass it? Into the corner it goes. And it hopped over Trottier's stick. Green along the board. Bossy is watching very carefully. Gillies in behind the net. Trottier spun around there by Hamel. Hamel is going to clear it, but not out. Here it is, shot in there, it's off the leg. Janssen to Potvin, back to Janssen, he winds up with a shot. Loose puck in from the net. Wild scramble. There it is, ready for they score! Gillies!
Well, for the fourth straight game in this series, the Islanders open things on a power play.
Who starts it off? Clark Gillies in front of net. Now there's a mad scramble. Watch what happened once Penny gets to his skate. All he had to do was stand there. I mean, he's down before Gillies even releases the puck. And then once Gillies gets the puck deck, all he has to do is put it over Penny. Not a very good play by the rookie Penny, but I guess this is playoff and can't expect him to be at the top of his game all the time. But Gillies, like the old pro he is, waited. Once they had Penny down, it was easy.
Scored by number 9, Mark Gillies.
Gillies got 12 goals all season in regular season play. He's got 7 in the playoffs.
And number 5, Dennis Potvin. The time of goal, 4:51. That's Gillies' 7th in the playoffs from Trottier and Potvin at 4:51.
4:51, Trottier and Potvin assisting on the Gillies goal. And it is 1-0 Islanders. Robinson ahead to Bullet shot. His pass stopped by Boudelier. And the Islanders are on the prowl again. Along the boards. Canelli right out in front to Goring. And the Canadiens taking over a good pass there. Mondeau to shot. Back it goes to Nyland. Taken out of the play. Knocked to the ice by Boudelier. And here's Dwayne Sutter. Islanders 1, Canadiens no score. Montreal making changes while the play goes on. Big Canelli ripped the shot off the stick of Chelios, and it's over the glass.
So the goal by Clark Gillies has given the Islanders an early first period lead here at the Nassau Coliseum. The goal was Gillies from Trottier and Potvin at 4:51. And the assist by Danny Potvin, his 97th career in the playoffs, tying him with Jean Beliveau for the all-time lead.
And he is in very illustrious company.
Yes, indeed.
Now the Canadiens coming in. Islanders fail to knock it out. High flying puck was cleared by Smith. Here is Gillies. Over the line. Keller cutting in, dropped it. From the corner, LaFontaine trying to get it out. Somebody is hurt down there in the corner area.
Anders Keller of the Islanders. Whistle is gone, and the Islanders trainer now being assisted down to the scene where Keller lies on the ice. The Islanders had Pat LaFontaine out there in that shift. That's the only lineup change. He has been hurt. Nystrom is injured, and he won't play. Now let's take a look at what happened to Keller as he collides in the corner with Craig Ludwig.
Very awkwardly. Did he ever go down there, Dick? And it seems to be his knee. Although the trainer now is working around the neck. And that's been the history of the Islanders. They keep losing players game after game, and the depth that they have on their hockey club has been unbelievable because they come back with other players that step in there and do a tremendous job.
Now watch it here. They both go after the puck in the corner. First contact is made at the shoulder level. Hard to tell from that replay. He fell feet first into the boards. He is still on the ice. Well, John Pinelli, after the game the other night, Gary, in Montreal on Thursday night, talking with us in the studio, and he mentioned the fact that the Islanders have been carrying so many players, and he said with the injury factor, it's been a good thing during the playoffs because they have had so many players go down with injuries that have kept them out for lengthy periods of time. Let's hope that Anders Keller is not seriously hurt as he slowly seems to regain his feet, and we hope his composure after the collision in the corner with Craig Ludwig. With the score, the Islanders 1 and the Canadiens 0. We'll return in just a moment. Al Arbor with 107 career playoff coaching victories. Jacques Lemaire with 9. Arbor 4 away from the record held by Scotty Bowman of 111.
You notice Jacques Lemaire, 16 years ago tonight, he got an overtime goal against St. Louis, beating Glenn Hall. He was a raw rookie. And that night, Mr. Frank Selke said that boy is one day going to be not only a great hockey player, but a leader. And how true. There's a shot wide. Now Ludwig clearing it in there. They jostle on the boards. Let's see who comes up with it. And Ludwig back in the center ice area. Along the boards, the Islanders are leading 1-0 on a goal by Gillies on the power play. Canadians doing some forechecking, trying to get possession. There's a balloon on the ice. And if the Islanders do not win tonight, there's going to be a lot of wasted balloons because we have a lot of them here tonight. And sparklers, the crowd in a festive and sensing a victory. They're in that type of mood. Now the Canadians, they lose it. Bossy's coming in over the line. Oh!
Stripping the puck from Bobby Smith and beating Steve Penny with a big shot, top corner. Here's the play on Smith.
Now that's good anticipation, Dick, by Bossy. Now watch him jockey for position. Has the time to unload it. Uses Hamel as a screen and just beats Penny cleanly. But you give the Islanders opportunities, and they capitalize because they have the guys that can put the puck in the net.
Gary, there's going to be some people question Steve Penny on that goal. Was he totally screened? It was a quick play, but tough to tell.
22, Mike Bossy.
It was also Mike Bossy.
The goal was unassisted. It came at 7:22. Bossy 7th in the playoffs, unassisted at 7:22.
7:22, Bossy, unassisted, and the Islanders, who need this game tonight to wrap up the series after dropping the first two games, are well on their way. There's a mix-up on the board.
Look out.
It's Hunter who is down on the ice. And number 27, Canelli. I'd like to mention further about Mr. Frank Selke, that venerable, sagacious man who lives out in Hudson Regal, will be 91 years of age on Monday. Mr. Selke, have a wonderful birthday. And we all know what an enormous architect you have been over the years of great, great hockey teams.
All right, Hunter goes to the box, and so does John Canelli.
Well, gentlemen, it's been that kind of a series. The hitting has been there, the contact has been there, and at times it got a little out of hand. Referee Dave Newell, he's going to make sure that nothing develops and send the players to the penalty box. So Hunter and Canelli will serve a couple each for roughing.
All right, we'll take another look at the goal, Gary, and I'd like again to get back to the Steve Penny situation.
Now, this might give a good idea if it was screened. See, when you shoot it through a defenseman's legs or just by his shoulder or pant, it's difficult to pick it up. Now, you notice on that play, Penny was out challenging. That puck just overpowered him in the corner, perfect location. And I've always felt that if a guy can pick it inside the post, he deserves the goal.
Well, Bossy played Hamel just perfectly on it, too. Let him make the first move, then made the shot.
You know, we're looking at line matchups. Gainey's been at Bossy throughout the series. He couldn't get out in time to try and cover up on that one.
A high-rising shot by Naslund. Now the Islanders, they'll start out swinging away from Mondeau. There's Bossy down on the right side. Morrow taken in on the boards. He carries on, getting it back to the line. Bossy over this side to Italy. There's a stop, and that was a big save. And Morrow at the open side of the net. But the puck was on end, and he shot it wide. And the Islanders coming very close to making it 3-0. Now Green with a soft shot, dumping it delicately into the corner, and that's the signal for Montreal to make changes while the play goes on. Now Trottier weaving his way to center. He just got rid of it. Now we have the Islanders making changes. 1 minute left in the penalties to Hunter and Tonelli, and down in over the line is Gainey. Gainey passed it and it's out over the line. And with that 2-0 lead that the Islanders have, you can rest assured that even in the first period, Gary Dornhofer, they're going to up the intensity of their checking.
Well, that's the style. They force the opposition into mistakes and increase the lead.
Now Gainey getting it back to Robinson. There's a shot. Blocking that was Cockban. And these defensemen have done that so well in the playoffs for the Islanders.
Danny Cockban played just a fair game in game number 1, but since then he has come on stronger and stronger and stronger. In game 5, he had to block 5 or 6 shots. He's up to it again tonight. The timing has to be perfect, or you're going to visit the dentist.
Well, Steve Penny throughout the playoffs has shown a great ability to come back after being beaten by a goal with a big save, and he did it right there. Boudelier let the shot go. Morrow on the rebound was wide with the bouncing puck.
Islanders 2. Canadiens no score. Goring checked off the puck by Lafleur. Chabot up on the right side. Islanders breaking up the Chabot pass that went to the right wing now. Here's Lafleur. Lafleur trying to break out of the slump. A drop pass to Chabot. Chabot twisting and turning along the boards. And Dwayne Sutter takes over. Coming out very slowly. Hotvan. Hotvan, a long lead pass gobbled up by Chelios. And the penalized players are back in circulation. Lafleur coming in off the right wing board. Lafleur shoots it right on. Billy Smith with a big save.
And we have Hunter and Tonelli again involved. Oh boy, that puck almost got through the open legs of Billy Smith. Mark Hunter breaks up against the crossbar right there, and the conclusion of this, and the chant goes up again, Gary. Billy.
Well, I really believe for this guy. You know, over the year, he has been a tremendous athlete, a tremendous player for the Montreal Canadiens. I know he's under the gun by the press, the fans in Montreal. I will not criticize him. In fact, as a player, respect for him, and he used to excite me just sitting on the bench. He's going through a tough time, and, you know, perhaps you should retire when you're at the top of your game.
Well, that's like the night when Philadelphia is playing in Montreal, and the coach told Dornhofer to go out and watch Lafleur. Lafleur scored, and he was criticized. Dornhofer was it. He said, I thought I told you to watch Lafleur. He said, I did. Isn't he beautiful?
Wasn't it great? That's a true story.
It's 2-0 here. The Islanders in command so far in this hockey game, but it's just the first period. Now up on the right side, it goes off. Hunter stick, you know, to win a series after losing 2 games, it's not an easy thing. Now I'm talking about the Stanley Cup Finals only. In 45 years, only on 3 occasions has a team lost the first 2 games and then to come back to win the series. Toronto did it against Detroit when they lost the first 3 in 42. The Canadiens against Detroit in 66, and Montreal in 73 against Chicago. So that's a rarity, isn't it? I don't think I've convinced you, have I, Dornhofer? At the line, in over the line. Sitting on the puck.
And the face-off will come outside the Islanders' blue line. 9:24 left, first period. The Islanders lead 2-0.
License number 9199.
You think I'm tough? This is tough. TR3 ain't no wax. Man, this stuff is something else. TR3 goes on easy, stays on hard, makes your car beautiful. Like me. TR3 fights off the enemies like dirt, sun, and grime. You want tough? This is tough. TR3. Take it from me, Mr. T.
Lining up for the face-off outside the Islanders' line. I have a correction to make. I said Montreal against Chicago in 73. There's a shot right on! Billy Smith making the save against Nyland. It was 1971. Gary, Have you seen a better playoff goaltender than Billy Schmidt?
He does it year after year after year. And when the chips are on the line, Billy Smith really comes through. Not often do the Islanders cough up that puck in their own zone. And I guess teams get a little excited when they do. Well, here's a glorious scoring opportunity. Number 31 steps in and just makes the save.
I thought you might have said Bernie Perron.
He would be his equal. Bernie 1-2 for us. Played exceptional hockey.
And we have 9 minutes and 9 seconds of time left here in the opening period, and the Islanders leading 2-0. Potvin lugging it out and clearing it into the Canadian zone. Green in there. He took a look at Goring up on the right side. Tremblay, good pass into the center ice area to Carbonneau. Carbonneau drifting off to the left wing. Taken out of the play by Potvin. Goring to the other side to Gillies. Bumped gently there by McPhee. Now Gillies got his stick way up high. Deneen is around the net. He's knocked to the ice by McPhee. They both went down. And it's very difficult to convince the Islander supporters that there was not an infraction there and should have been called, according to them, against McPhee, who is now going in after Deneen again. So McPhee showing a lot of aggressive skating to the other side. Into the center ice area. Goring is in over the line to drop past the Gillies. There's the shot. Blocked by Robinson. Lafleur clears it to the far side. Ludwig up ahead. And it's dumped to center by McPhee. Canadiens with Lafleur in over the line. Here's Lafleur handing it off to Chabot. Chabot around the net trying to center it. The Islanders just get rid of it. And pouncing on it for Montreal, Ludwig. Ludwig to Chabot. That was not a good pass intended for Walter. Pinelli coming down on the left side. He's pushed by Robinson. Centered it right out in front. Here's Morrow. In for Tonelli. Tonelli is rambunctious. A going concern for the Islanders. Robinson ahead to Gainey. Gainey in over the line. Trying to drop it back. And it hit the leg of Morrow. Robinson struggling behind the net. And the Islanders couldn't get out. Trottier was bodied by Robinson. Bossy to Johnston. A high pass goes to center ice, and the Canadiens on it with Robinson returning it to Ludwig. Canadiens have to accentuate to a greater degree than ever the offensive aspect of the hockey game. They cannot afford the luxury of losing this game. It'll be the end of the season for them. And they are down 2-0 in this first period. 6.5 minutes left. Nyland hitting the Islanders line, dropping it back. And it's shot to center by Flatley. There is Green playing it ahead. And the Islanders take over, coming down on the left side. Gilbert pass to Flatley. Canadiens, according to the Islanders supporters, had too many men on the ice. But I don't think that that was the case. But they reacted strongly. 5 minutes and 50 seconds left. Here's Flatley in over the line. There's a shot. And that hit a body. Sharp angle shot by Flatley. Tremblay playing it up on the left side. Deneen cleared it to the line. Sutter, that is Brent Sutter, back to Deneen on the left side to Gilbert. Gilbert stepping nimbly at the line, and it is offside against the Islanders.
The Islanders lead it 2-0 live on CBC. This is Stanley Cup 84. Good. This is the 7th different line combination that Al Arbor has had out there tonight, Jerry. He's got LaFontaine centering Carroll and Bossy. Bossy has played on 4 different lines.
It's very difficult for Lemaire to match, so he might as well just go out and play. They need goals, so you have to go right after the Islanders and never mind matching.
Now the Canadiens shut at center. Trying to clear it ahead. He picks it up himself. A good move by Schutt. And Schutt couldn't pick it up against Boudelier. 5 minutes exactly the time remaining in this, the opening period, and the Islanders are leading the Canadiens 2-0, and it's Morrow. Over on this side to Boutelier. Back to Morrow. Taking his time in the center ice area, Boutelier playing it across the Canadiens line. Good forechecking here by the Islanders. You have Dwayne Sutter out there with Carroll and Goring. Canadiens couldn't mount an offensive attack. Islanders still at their own line. They play it on the left side to Gillies. Gillies has a goal tonight. He swings over to the right side. Into the corner it goes. Dwayne Sutter is in there against Hamel. Here's Goring. Goring getting set along the boards. Goring had the stick handle by the referee, Dave Newell. Canadiens coming out. They can't get very far. The Islanders taking over, led by Goring. Goring coming down. He leads his man, Boutelier, with a left wing pass. But it was a stuttering, stammering effort on the left side as Boutelier had to ease up to take the pass. Now the Canadiens. Boutelier upended his man. And there's a tripping penalty against number 4 of the Islanders.
The Canadiens, who have been struggling on the power play all season, and particularly in this series, will now get their first power play chance as Boutelier goes to the box at 16-13. The Islanders' very impressive 20-year-old defenseman Paul Boutelier off for tripping at 16-13. The Canadiens 0 for 5 on the power play on Thursday night, 0 for their last 12 in this series. They have been struggling.
So Montreal on the power play as we move into the final 3.5 minutes of the first period. What a psychological lift it would be for the Canadiens to get a goal. There's Robinson shooting it to the short side. But the power play for Montreal, as everybody knows, has been stuttering. There's a shot in front. Smith was upended as he tried to deflect it, and the Islanders shooting it down the ice. 1 minute and 23 seconds, the time left in the Boutelier tripping penalty. Now Chelios is coming up with Nyland. He has Naslund on the other side. Smith is in over the line. Robinson is moving up. Naslund goes down. Here's Smith taking a look. What's he going to do with it? He gives it up to the Islanders, and they promptly shoot it down the ice.
One thing we noticed in Game 5 in Montreal in the third period, the Canadiens did have guys in front of Billy Smith. They did not score, but they had Smith scrambling, and there was some rebounds there with the opportunity of putting it by him.
And now into the corner area. They fight for possession. It comes loose, and there is Goring. And what an invaluable man he is for the Islanders, particularly in playoff games and especially killing off penalties.
Very difficult guy to play with, because as soon as you touch the puck, you have 91 right beside you. Very tenacious in his checking. And, you know, the Canadiens are getting in there, but they're getting out-muscled for the puck. They're not determined enough to come up with that puck.
There's the lead pass from Chelios to Nyland, dropping it back. And that brings the Canadiens back into the center ice area. Now Johnsson just got rid of it. And we have the expiration of the penalty to Boutelier. Lafleur can't catch up with it at center. Hotman playing it back. Here's Denis coming out slowly on the left wing. Trottier gets it. Cleared it in over the line for Tonelli. Tonelli around the net. Trying to center it. Still fighting for it. Fighting with great determination, and finally the Canadiens Hunter cleared it down on the right side. Here's Denis. Hotman up on the left side to Tonelli in over the line, giving it to Trottier right in front, and Bossy couldn't pick it up. 1 minute, 1 second left. Now the Canadiens going in, and Trottier cleared it out over the line. The shots on goal, 6-5 for the Islanders. They lead 2-0 as the Montreal Canadiens. Bounce it back in there, and Smith can't pick it up against Denis and Hotman. Now on the left side, Gillies at center. In over the line with Sutter. Along the boards, they jostle for possession. Behind the net, Brent Sutter is knocked to the ice. So is Flatley. Gillies goes in there to help out, and they might get a whistle. They do.
We are 24 seconds away from the end of this first period. Clark Gillies, who opened the scoring in this game, will be guesting with Brian McFarland in our upcoming first intermission, and we will also have a special Hockey Night in Canada feature on the Special Olympics. And I noticed, Gary, when Gillies popped that goal early, they were very quick to put up on the board. Team scoring first goal of game has won 66% of games in playoffs.
I think everybody in this building knew exactly that, Dick. But that last sequence gives you an idea how the Islanders grinded out along the boards. You know, the team concept that Al Arbor instills in everybody. Work, 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 and always never too late to come back.
And we have 15 seconds left in this, the opening period. The Islanders can't clear it out the first time. They get an extra effort, and they get it to center. Robinson clearing it in there, and that bring about the end of the opening period with the Islanders getting a standing ovation, and they lead 2-0.
Well, what chances the Montreal Canadiens did have. Billy Smith was there, but again, good defense by New York. They just stymied the Canadiens in their own end.
The Islanders outshot the Canadiens in the first period by a margin of 6-5. And so the score at the end of the first period, the New York Islanders 2, the Montreal Canadiens nothing. Stay with us for our first intermission.
Game 6 of this series, the Islanders holding a 2-0 lead. First period goals by Gillies and Bossy. Gillies on the power play. Watch it again. And what a gem up in front of Steve Penny as the puck comes through. Watch Gillies, number 9, to the side of the net. Trotzy and Potvin there as well. It came at 4:51. The puck finally comes over to Clark Gillies. Steve Penny is down off his skates. And here comes the puck over now. Gillies makes a fine move here. Waits and pops it into the corner. And he's our guest in the first intermission. Clark Gillies having a sensational playoff year. And I believe, Clark, that some of that is because of a conversation you had with Bill Torrey with about 20 games to play in the regular season. Tell us what happened.
Well, the season for me was really a disaster, and I went and saw Bill, and we had a long talk, and he basically just said, you know, forget about the season. We know you can contribute if you get your head in the right, going in the right direction, and I tried to do that, and so far it's been going real well.
Boy, we should all talk to our bosses like that. Might help. That was a fine goal you got, and a super goal by Mike Bossy.
Mike really shot the puck there. I think he used Hamel, I think it was, as a screen, and put it in the top corner. That's one of Mike's bright spots. He can use the defenseman for that, and when he gets it away hard like that, it's tough for the goalie to stop it.
One plus the Islanders have, though, is the depth, because you've had so many injuries throughout the playoffs, but you always seem to find a body to fill the spot.
Well, everybody was saying that the Islanders are going to make a lot of trades during the trade deadline. We had 7 extra bodies. And Bill Torrey said, you know, we may need the guys, and once again, he's ended up looking like a genius, because we've needed every single guy that he kept on the misery squad, as they call it, and they played well for us.
The word on you is that you're an amiable, fun-loving kind of guy in the dressing room, full of hijinks and everything, but when you get mad, you play your best. Who are you mad at these days?
Well, tonight I'm mad at Gordy Janine because he hit me in the eye with a stick during the warm-up, but I don't know. I'm kind of mad at myself, I guess. I want to go out there every night and play as well as I can now, especially, as we said, in the playoffs, and try and salvage something out of this season, because I really feel that I hit the bottom during this season, and now I want to try and work my way back up.
Well, you're certainly doing that. And you mentioned young Gord Dineen, and you think about Flatley and LaFontaine coming back. You've got the good young kids coming along, too, and that's an asset.
Oh, there's no question. We've got 4 or 5, 20, 21, 22-year-old players that fit right in there playing like real veterans, and it really looks good for the future of the team. And I just hope I'm 30 now. I hope I'm part of it for another 3-4 years anyway.
I'm sure you will be, and have a great rest of this hockey game tonight.
All right, thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Clark Gillies of the Islanders. Our first intermission resumes in just a moment.
Last year, for the first time, Americans were picked first and third in the NHL draft. What will be the story this year in the '84 draft, June 9th in Montreal? Well, no doubt one story will be the sensational Mario Lemieux from Laval, who has rewritten the junior record books in the province of Quebec. For the first time, Canadian viewers will be able to follow their favorite team's selections as Sports Weekend brings you a television first. It's live coverage of the NHL draft from the Montreal Forum. See it Saturday, June 9th.
This young man is a happy young man right now. He's the son of Islander goaltender Billy Smith. He is one of the balloon brigade here tonight at the Nassau Coliseum. And there's Pop in the nets, almost ready to start this second period of play. Gary, one thing we saw in that first period with the Islanders ahead 2-0, I guess it's cliche, but it's typical Islander hockey.
They do grind it out, don't they, Dick? They're very persistent in their forechecking. They cause turnovers. I'm looking for a weakness in the Islander attack. I can't find one.
You know, inside the blue line, I thought that one thing that the Canadiens did, especially in the Boston series, surprisingly perhaps, was win the boards. They really slugged it out against the Bruins, but here tonight, that's been a problem for them.
It has, Dick, and you just have to hand it to Al Arbour. You know, I don't care how many superstars you have in your hockey club. You need direction from behind the bench. Arbour has the team playing as a team. There are no selfish hockey players in that hockey club. They have one goal in mind, and that's to beat the Canadiens out in the conference final. Each man contributes in his way, and it doesn't matter what line Arbour sends out there, they do the job, whether it's at the center ice in their own zone or in the Montreal zone. They work.
This camera shot proves that we are indeed broadcasting from in the crowd, and now ready to broadcast the play-by-play from in the crowd. Danny Gallivan.
And we are all set. At center, it's Smith for Montreal, Gainey on one wing and Hunter on the other. The Islanders with Flatley going up there, a backhand shot into the corner. Here's Johnson with a screen shot, and the leg saved by Penny. 2-0, the Islanders lead. And they're up there forechecking. Now they fall back with the Canadiens starting down the ice, but it's going to be icing. And you know, you ask yourself the question, how good are the Islanders? Are the Islanders as good as that 1952 Detroit team? Oh, what a powerhouse that was. Canadiens 56-60. The Canadiens 76-79. And then Punch Imlock had some great teams, 62, 63, 64. But I think it's obvious that you cannot compare that which is not comparable. And you can't do that because the game has changed so much. I think it's suffice to say that this is a great New York Islanders team.
That's the best way out of all of that, Danny, I would think.
I would think. And there's a fellow who has been the royal jelly of this team, I would think, over these 4 previous years. A very muscular individual. Good two-way hockey player. I've referenced to Trottier as the Canadiens start out. In on the left side. Here's shot shooting again. And a blistering blast just went wide. In the Islanders in their own zone. Boudelier clearing it to an open wing, and it's gobbled up by Gainey. Gainey getting set. And a big save by Billy Smith.
Well, unfortunately, at this moment, we have a sad note to report. Canadian Sports Network President Ted Huff and all of us associated with Hockey Night in Canada join with friends of the family of Toronto Maple Leaf alternate governor Bob Sedgwick, who died this morning. We are shocked and sorrowed at Bob's sudden passing. John Ziegler, president of the National Hockey League, issued a statement. He said the NHL and all of hockey have suffered a tragic loss in the passing of Bob Sedgwick. His wisdom, wit, and consummate legal skills have been an invaluable contribution to the NHL progress these past few years. So all of us extend our deepest sympathies to his wife, Marg, and to the Sedgwick family.
And you know, Dick, it was 3 weeks ago last Wednesday that I sat in on a Hockey Hall of Fame meeting with Bob. So it's a shocker to hear of this passing today. Canadiens, everybody up. 2-0, the Islanders are leading, and it's Potvin scooping it to the other side. Now Nyland. Let's see if the Canadiens can keep it in. A bouncing puck. Chelio struggles, tries to set up Nyland. And the Islanders. Trottier upended, gets it out on the right side to Bossy against Robinson. And it's shot in there wide. Into the corner. Chelios. He hits the Islanders' Trottier. And the Canadiens can't get anywhere from center. It's fed back in there by New York. Montreal. They need a goal in the worst way to lift their spirits a bit and get them back into very serious contention. They're down by 2. 2-on-1 for the Islanders. Pinelli tried to make it deep. He centered it back. It came, and the Canadiens had it roll into the center ice area. Anthony pounces on it quickly and sends Montreal back there with Robinson, who has been an outstanding figure in the playoffs for the Canadiens. But I think Gary Dornhofer We'll get to you in a second. There's a shot. Big save. Loose puck in front. Here's Morrow shooting it. And a screen shot. And I don't know whether that got all the way to Penny. We have pressure here by the Islanders. A sharp angle shot. And Robinson lugging it and getting it into the center ice area. Hunter shooting it down. I was going to ask you, Gary Dornhofer, we talked about the great play of Robinson. He may be a bit tired by now. There's a shot blocked at the line.
Well, Danny, they've gone with 5 defensemen in every game of the series, and that certainly is going to take its toll after a while.
2 minutes and 42 seconds have gone by. Big Smith coming in on the right side. Here's Smith dumping it gently right in front. And Brent Sutter was there to clear it to the corner. Boudelier, he's an elegant skater, this young man, number 4, clearing it in. Taking the puck for the Canadiens, Green sending Walter away with Lafleur. Lafleur in there, carries on. The puck stayed behind. And Lafleur going after Flatley. Shut in for Lafleur. Lafleur clearing it ahead. Here's Shutt winding up with a shot. A low, hard drive wide. Gilbert played it through the center ice area, and he missed Brent Sutter. And Lafleur clearing it in. The Canadiens led by Lafleur and Chabot are in there. And the Islanders fail to clear it out. Fake shot there by Shutt. Shutt at the line. Clearing it into the corner. Chabot has it knocked away. Montreal will keep it in. There's Lafleur twisting and turning. And the back pass taken by Flatley, who cleared it out. Now we had Amell dangling Flatley on the end of his stick. There's a shot from the line. Smith had that taped all the way. It was partially screened for a fraction of the second, but then he picked it up when it was still 10 or 15 feet up. Lafleur on the right side, passing it at the line. Chabot a very weak and feeble effort on that shot that went off Johnson's leg. Dwayne Sutter on the right side, trying to cut in there. A trailer. Carroll picked it up, gave it to Sutter, to Johnson. He shot it right in there. And a quick maneuver by Penny. Otherwise, that puck would have been in the net. It's Gainey coming back, along with Tremblay. Into the corner. Carbonneau. Hot bad. Takes a look. He's one of the best Russian defensemen, not only in the game today, but in any year. Right in front of Cobb. And they try to jam it in on the short side. Right at the lip of the crease was number 12, Sutter, Dwayne Sutter. Over on the far side, Chelios. It's knocked away. Back at the line. Tremblay knocking down his shot from Captain Gainey, and the Islanders can't get anywhere. Montreal playing it back in there, but the penetration isn't deep enough for the players to follow in, and they elect to make changes. And let's see what's happening here.
We've had a delay in this game because of an injury to referee Dave Newell. It would appear to be his left hand or left arm as he goes to the Islander dressing room side. Now, there are alternate officials in the stands at all times during the Stanley Cup playoffs. Do we know who the alternate is here tonight? Check the list. The alternate is Andy Van Helleman.
That's interesting about the officials. The alternate always watches this particular game, so he knows exactly what is happening, what to expect for the next game. And I talked to referee-in-chief Scotty Morrison prior to the game, and that was very interesting. You know, when you see the official talking to the two captains, he has a discussion with them, and if there's points of interest that might be beneficial to the coach and the players, then it's up to the captains to go and relay that message. So right off the bat, they know exactly what's going to happen. In the American Hockey League, gentlemen, the referee in that particular game will meet with the two captains after the warm-up, and the referee will say, "You have any questions? Anything you want to talk about?" And if I can give you the answers, then you can relay it to your bench, and that's something that may be brought into the National Hockey League next year.
3 minutes and 39 seconds from now, we are going to reach a historic point in playoff hockey. With 11 minutes left in this period, Billy Smith will then have played 6,900 minutes, surpassing Glenn Hall, who had 6,899.
This is a bit of an inside here. Jiggs McDonald is the broadcaster for the New York Islanders telecast. He comes originally from Orillia, Ontario. So that is a message back to Orillia from Jiggs.
As we look at the Islanders, I wonder what the Edmonton Oilers are thinking right about now.
Tonight's game is coming to you from Long Island. We are back at the Nassau Coliseum. Just prior to the point when we broke away, they announced there would be a 2-minute delay because of the injury to Dave Newell. That was announced to the capacity crowd of 15,861. Now, in regular season play, you would have a linesman take over, and they would work a portion of the game with just 2 officials while a referee had to leave, but they won't do that at playoff time. Apparently, the first word we have is the Newell injury is not serious enough to warrant Van Hellemond suiting up, but of course that could change. The gentleman on the left of your screen, just passing out of the picture, is Joe Patrick. And yes, he is a member of the famous Patrick hockey family. He is the son of the late Frank Patrick. And Joe is a longtime minor official at New York Ranger home games at Madison Square Garden. Folks in Vancouver will know him, the Patrick family, of course, and he is a hockey man. And Danny, that Patrick legend continues. Of course, Craig Patrick is the general manager and president of the New York Rangers. So there is a gentleman who continues in one form or another, in this case the minor official capacity of continuing on the Patrick name when the National Hockey League is concerned. Al Arbor. He will become the all-time winning Stanley Cup playoff coach if he wins the Stanley Cup, because he can surpass Scotty Bowman's record only if the Islanders go all the way this year. He's not worried about that too much, however. I think he's worried about what's happening here. We have been told that Andy Van Hellemond is now getting into referee's uniform. So perhaps the injury to Newell is a little more serious than what it might have first appeared. So it's a 2-0 hockey game. We are in delay right now because of an injury to the referee. The Montreal Canadiens waiting it out through this injury delay. Jacques Lemaire and company. If there is a 7th game in this series, it will be played at the Forum in Montreal next Tuesday night. If there is not a 7th game in this series, the first game of the Stanley Cup Final will be played next Thursday night here on Long Island.
You know, having looked at the Montreal Canadiens, I think they wonder what they have to do to get a good scoring opportunity, because the Islanders have covered so well in that slot.
Okay, we'll just check in now at our studios for a minute. Here's Brian McFarland.
Dick, I'm here with Andy Van Hellemond, the backup referee tonight. Quickly, Andy, tell us the situation with Dave Newell.
Dave was hit with a puck in the side of his hand, and they don't know how deep the cut is, but it could have hurt some tendons. So I went in to get dressed, and then they said they were just going to stitch him up. But if there's much more of a delay, then I'll have to get dressed. Okay, you're ready for this game tonight? Do you have to kind of crank yourself up for a game prior to the game, or are you ready to go in at any time? Well, that's the idea of a standby. You got to be ready to go in if something should unfortunate happen, like something like this. That you got to be ready to go in and keep it going. We hope that Dave is well and can return, but I know you're anxious to get down there and check on the latest developments, so we'll let you go, and thanks for joining us. We'll go back to the booth.
So obviously you can discount previous memo about Andy Van Hellemond getting in uniform. Not yet, anyway. This program is copyright and strictly for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, distribution, or exhibition in whole or in part without the express written consent of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation is strictly prohibited.
Remember, Dick, we were doing a playoff game in Madison Square Garden. There you get a look at an indication of the part of the hand that has been severed or cut. I think it was back in 1972. And somebody got injured in the 3rd period, and Scotty Morrison took over. Remember that?
Right. Frank Goodberry also came out of retirement. Yes. It was here, I believe, in this building, that Frank had to put on the skates and work the last portion of a hockey game. Not a playoff game. I don't think it was a playoff game.
Getting back to that Billy Smith statistic that we are to reach when we have played 11 minutes into this period, That 69 100 minutes represents 345 periods of hockey, or 115 games. That is a lot of hockey. I suppose he has swung that stick quite a bit during those 345. No, we've got to be factual. We have told you that he's probably the greatest clutch goaler we've had in hockey in many, many years. But there's no denying the fact that he clears the people away from the front of his goal.
Well, Steve Penny must be learning something from Billy Smith as he has this experience, because Smith has played so well in the playoffs. The balloons are now bouncing around on the ice, and some of the players are bouncing the balloons around as they try to get rid of it. If you have just joined us, this is not the start of the hockey game or the start of a period. The teams have played 5 minutes and 21 seconds in this second period, and the play was halted because of a hand injury suffered by the referee, Dave Newell. Craig Ludwig was in the penalty box when the Islanders opened the scoring. Ludwig took an early first period penalty, and Clark Gillies then scored the goal that gave the Islanders the 1-0 lead, and that followed a pattern that they have established. Fourth straight game that the team coached by Al Arbour has scored an early power play goal to take the lead. It was Gillies from Trottier and Potvin at 4:51. And then Mike Bossy stripped the puck from Bobby Smith of the Canadiens and scored an unassisted goal at 7:22 to make it 2-0 for both Gillies and Bossy, their 7th playoff goals this year. You were saying, what do the Canadiens have to do? You know, one thing that everybody has talked about the Canadiens, Gary, and we certainly did toward the end of the season when it became obvious that one of the things they were lacking was opponent attack and a lot of goal-scoring ability, really, spread out or otherwise. Even a couple of fellows who you could look at and count on as scoring. That's the problem that this team has when they're down 2-0 in a hockey game.
Right. Who can you count on to come up with that big goal to get them on track? But watching the game tonight, and also, in fact, the last 4 games, Dick, I am so very impressed with the Islanders on their team defense. Every player has an area to cover, a position to cover, but the most important part behind their blue line that they do so well is in the slot. They always have somebody waiting there, and I think tonight, up to this point, they've picked off at least 8 or 9 passes that have resulted in the transition from defense to offense. Now, Al Arbour is certainly responsible. Well, one other guy that I think should be mentioned is Lorne Henning. He spent a lot of years with the Islanders as a player. He was a defensive specialist and also a penalty killer. Al Arbour relies on his insight into the hockey, his hockey brain, and uses Henning's talents and what we're seeing out there. And it's just amazing how they can play. And this is going to be a major concern with the Edmonton Oilers and how to get good scoring chances against the Islanders.
So the delay here at the Nassau Coliseum because of the Newell injury is stretched a bit longer than 2 minutes. It's 2-0 New York.
Nothing here at the Nassau County Coliseum. We have a delay because of the injury to referee Dave Newell. In the studio, Rick Walmsley of the Canadiens. I know it's difficult to sit and watch a game, Rick, and Steve Penny has replaced you and just been the story of the playoffs in Montreal, certainly. How do you cope with a situation like this where your expectations are kind of dealt a blow like this?
Well, it's tough. At the end of the year, I had to go in the hospital and have a little operation, and it took me out of the lineup. And Lemaire came out in the paper and said I was, going to start in the playoffs. So, that's a little tough to take. But you can't take anything away from Steve. He's played well. He's been a big factor, why we've got this far. And you can't take anything away from him.
He must be just pinching himself at times because suddenly, out of nowhere, he's a big playoff hero.
Well, yeah, it's kind of a story, you kind of dream about when you're a kid playing road hockey, stepping in the NHL and stoning everybody and going on to win the Stanley Cup. It's the kind of stuff you dream about as a kid, and it's good to see it happen, to somebody in real life.
Well, there's competition in every phase of life, especially in sports, so I guess you figure, or have to figure, if it wasn't Steve Penny giving you a battle for your job, be somebody else standing there.
Well, that's true. This isn't like you're playing Pee Wee in Port Dover, where...
Oh, you got the plug in.
Yeah, well, I had to get in somehow. But, you know, it's professional, and they're going to go with whoever they want, and you have to be professional in situations like this and try and keep in shape and try and do your best, you know, in case you get in there.
Seeing you watch the games on the monitor in here, you've been in here a couple of times watching, you must just shake your head at times over the saves that Billy Smith is making.
Yeah, he's a proven playoff performer. He's, you know, he's a major reason they're this far, too. I think, you know, the fifth game against the Rangers is one of the best games I've seen in a long time, and he certainly, you know, kept the Islanders in the game, late in the game, and in the overtime, you know, until Morrow scored. So he's a veteran, he's a proven playoff performer, and, you know, he says he likes the money, and he just comes through when he's supposed to.
Speaking of coming through, though, the Montreal Canadiens have been a tremendous success story throughout the playoffs, and nobody expected them to get this far off the regular season. What has Jacques Lemaire done? We've asked a lot of people this. What has he done with this club to get it cranked up like he has?
Well, I think he's given everybody, you know, a lot more confidence than we had near the latter part of the season. We put in a new forechecking system where, you know, we try and plug up the middle of the ice. Everybody knows that now. But everybody has a certain job, and no one's trying to do anything that they're not supposed to be doing. You know, if you're the first man forechecking, that's all you do, and the second and third man react to that. There haven't been too many times where we've been running around and nobody, you know, has been out of position and made mistakes. So as long as we continue to do that, we'll be all right.
It's difficult for us to accept that Guy Lafleur is not scoring goals. You're very close to him. What have you got to say about that?
Well, you know, in practice, he comes in, he just zips them by you know, anytime he wants to, and I don't, like, in practice, it's different. It's not under game conditions, but, you know, he's getting checked close, and he's still got the good shot. I think he just needs a little more time to get it away, and I don't think he's getting that time.
Okay, thanks for joining us. Your time will come, and
right,
let's go back up to the booth.
All right, gentlemen, the players are still, some of them, going for a bit of a skate as we await the arrival of one referee or the other, either Dave Newell or the backup Andy Van Hellemond. Gary Dornhofer, as you were saying.
Yes, Dick, I guess I was a little premature in the Oilers studying the New York Islanders and what they do in the finals, that this game is not over by a long shot. And in fact, I think you have to be very impressed the way the Canadiens have played in this series, Dick. Had it been any other team than the New York Islanders, they would probably be ahead in the series.
You know, it's also, they fall behind 2-0, but it's still 2-0 after that score early in the first period. And that's what we have here as we wait out the delay. With Danny Gallivan. Yes. Mike Bossy standing at the doorway as we await the arrival of our referee. I kind of wish now that the original memo I spoke about, the fact that Van Hellemond was ready to go, had been correct, because this has been a much longer delay and obviously a much more serious injury than was first thought. Again, here's Brian.
Dick, certainly the best-dressed linesman in all of hockey is Ray Scapinella. You've been a busy man behind the scenes here tonight. You come to a game not expecting to play a prominent role at all. Suddenly you're in demand as a television guest on one network and then the other. Bring us up to date on what's happening now with the referee, Dave Newell.
Along the boards, a player was dumped and brought his skate up, and David brought his hand up to cover his face, and the skate cut his left finger. They're in there stitching it up right now.
Okay, but Andy Van Hellemond joined us. At first he was told it would only take a minute or two and he wouldn't be needed tonight. And then now I guess, is he getting dressed down there?
Yes, he is. Oh. He's getting dressed right now. I think if there's much longer delay, Andy will continue refereeing.
Okay. So it looks then that maybe Dave Newell won't be back tonight and Andy Van Hellemond will take over. And is there a lot of activity down in the referee's room? You got some senior officials hovering in the area?
Well, as soon as David left the ice, Andy was pulling a Superman, had the tie off before he got down the stairs. So he's in there, and I'm sure he's dressed right now.
Has this happened frequently to you in your career, having to step in as being a backup man?
Not at all, Brian. In a game like this evening, which is a potential deciding game, they have two officials, a referee and a linesman. It'd be a shame, really, if a linesman went down and Andy had to go and work the game. It's not fair to Andy, and it wouldn't be fair to the players in a potential deciding game. So that's why two of us are here tonight rather than one.
Ray, in the regular season, when there are no backups, there's a crazy rule in the book that if the official, for some unknown reason, can't show up through blizzard or illness, a player from the home team shall act as the referee, and a player from the visiting team shall act as the one linesman. Has that ever happened in hockey?
Yes, it did. Ron Foyt was the only official that arrived in Hartford. It was this last season, as a matter of fact. He was the only official that could get there. Ron Fournier couldn't make it along with the other linesmen, and Foyt refereed, and Gary Howitt was one of the linesmen. and I forget who the other linesman was, but they worked the lines for a period.
Are you telling me it's conceivable that someday in the NHL, Tiger Williams could referee a game and Dave Semenko could, say, be the linesman?
If Vancouver so choose, he could, yes.
Boy, I hate to think about it.
I'm sure he'd do a fine job. He's always helping us now.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks for joining us, Ray, and we hope that Dave Newell as well, and Andy Van Helmen is ready to go in just a moment or two.
Thanks for having me.
We'll go back upstairs.
I want to see the day when Brian McFarland, a great skater in old-timers hockey, gets a chance to show his skills with a striped shirt. Gary, a question here, strategy-wise. Who's hurt and who's not from the team standpoint, but this long, long delay we've had here?
I think if it's going to hurt any hockey club, it has to be the Islanders, because they were on a tear. They really did some excellent forechecking. The momentum was there. Everybody was in full stride. They had good flow, and now that's been interrupted for about 15 minutes now. The Canadiens have a chance to regroup and talk things over at their bench with Jacques Lemaire and said, hey, look at guys, we're in this one. We're only 2 behind. Let's go after them. And I don't think you can afford to play safe anymore as far as the Canadiens are concerned, Dick. You have to go right after the Islanders, forecheck them. But the one area that has really let Montreal down is the giveaways, throwing the puck blindly in the slot. You have to hang on to it or be checked, stripped from the puck, but don't throw it away blind. And this is what we've been waiting for. Dave Newell is back.
And Con the Bomb is the fellow walking alongside him, one of the top hockey fans here at the Nassau Coliseum, a familiar figure to those of us in the media who travel the National Hockey League circuit, Tom Bardwell, a New Yorker. So here comes Dave Newell, his left hand, obviously, as you see, bandaged, well bandaged. And Brian will try to find out, I'm sure, just the exact nature of the work that was done on Dave. That's a tough one. Referees have had some injury problems of late, the NHL's officiating staff. Danny Van Helmen missed a lot of games, a back injury. Bob Myers was hurt. There were others as well. I think Dave himself over the last couple of years has had some injury problems. They're just as susceptible to it. They're in positions, as we saw here tonight, to run into traffic and come out of it on the lip.
Dick, I'm surprised that the officials do not wear headgear. Just about all the players do now in the National Hockey League, and yet the officials continue to referee and use the linesmen in the games without wearing that headgear.
Danny, another impressive statistic on Billy Smith, his 27th consecutive start for the Islanders in playoff competition.
He has been, of course, such a magnificent figure in hockey generally, but particularly with the Islanders and their race through these years of Stanley Cup successes. And he is sparking them again in this game tonight, which, if they win, will send them into the finals and that smooth skating, high-scoring Edmonton Oilers team. And if the Islanders win tonight, they will have... The Oilers will have 9 playoff. And now we have this game underway in the center ice area. Wayne Sutter bouncing it in there. In there covering up as Ludwig. He doesn't cover up well enough, but a loose puck is gobbled up by Smith. Smith is down with Hunter. Now Shuck crisscrossing. Shuck going in the other way. And the Islanders pick it up. Here is Johnson taking his time. And with the 2-0 lead, even though it's only about the midway mark in the second period, the Islanders are not going to be in a particular rush to execute. Now popped back. Ahead it goes to Nelly with that shoulder, right shoulder, down low. Pass goes over on the other side to Bossy. Canelli is trying to pick it away from Chelios. Chelios gets a good pass off to Smith. Here's Smith down in over the line with Gady trying to get in front. Smith jammed onto the play very effectually. And it was Boudelier who covered up that long shot from the point was wide. Now Newell was jammed in there by Trottier and Chelios. Boudelier tying strongly up and they get a face-off in Islanders territory.
And Dave Newell acting as if he was hurt slightly again in that traffic jam. When the playoffs started this year, nobody, you can say, knew who Steve Penny was. Hockey fans across the country especially. Now everybody knows. He's from St. Croix, Quebec. Played a couple of seasons in Flint, Michigan in the International Hockey League. This season with the Voyageurs in Halifax. Even then he wasn't their #1 goaltender. Brought up to Montreal late in the season. Played 4 regular season games and has started every game for the Canadiens in the playoffs.
I think the one thing, I thought he stood up so well at the first few games of the playoffs, but the last couple he has gone down before the shot is even directed at him. I don't know if that's a little bit of nervousness or playoff tension, but he has handled himself so well. As the years go on, he will get better.
Gillies and Bossy having scored in the first period, 40 yards. And they lead 2-0, and Naslund pumps the pass over on the right side. Mondu lost it. Boudelier got it out. Brent Sutter fakes the shot. Trying to go around defenseman Hamel, as he did around Schutt for that beautiful goal in Montreal on Thursday night. There's Morrow. Not spectacular, number 6, but gets the job done. Puck is at the Canadiens line. Upended with Gilbert. Robinson starting away, leading a 4-man attack for the Canadiens, swinging in over the line. Mondu to Naslund. There's a shot, and it's off a leg. Flatley playing it up on the left side, and darting back there to get it for the Canadiens. Hamel ahead. Head fake there by Shabbat. Shabbat is over the line, clearing it in, but actually it was a giveaway as Flatley was there to pick it up. 11 minutes and 59 seconds the time left in the second period. Into the corner area. They might get a whistle here. Let's see. Yes, they do.
So we've got a 2-0 hockey game. Guy Lafleur and the Canadiens trying to come back. Pat Flatley, number 8 of the Islanders, a brief resume of his hockey career at East Young, Henry Carr High School in Toronto, the University of Wisconsin, the Canadian Olympic team, and from Sarajevo to Uniondale, New York.
Boy, does he fit into the mold of the Islanders. Very aggressive in the corners, and when he gets the puck on his stick, he also knows what to do with it. He showed that demonstration in the playoffs as he's tied for the scoring lead on the Islanders Hockey Club.
So it is 2-0. The Montreal Canadiens, who during the regular season subjected their fans to such painful disappointment and frustration, I think they've made up in part, at least, in the playoffs, with the type of hockey that has been palpitating. And they're not out of this one yet. There's the long shot. 2-0 the score in the series. 3-2 the Islanders leading. They need the victory tonight to qualify for the finals. Canadiens with Gainey clearing it in behind the net. Chelios does the spinorama to shake off that intended check by Bossy. Now they come down to the line. A pass goes into the corner. Trombley being watched by Denis. Gillies can't clear it out. Here's Gainey getting set to pass it, and it hit a leg. Montreal still in there. Gainey has it. Gainey getting it back. Green takes a screen shot, and it went off Trombley wide. In on the board. The Islanders now going to pick it up and clear it to the other side. Gillies against Chelios. Montreal still with it. They pump a shot in there from the line. Handled easily by Smith. Wayne Sutter ahead to Goring, and it's called on the offside.
Gary, the Islanders scored early to take the 2-0 lead. Now, we know they're very strong defensively and have a great system going, and it's worked. But did they start firing and falling back? I mean, what's their thinking when they get that early lead in a game like this one?
They play sound defensive hockey. They don't really do strong forechecking unless they have an opportunity to go in there. If the Canadiens have good possession, they just peel back. But one thing they do, Dick, is they wait for the Canadiens. They'll wait for the Canadiens to open up, and then they'll take advantage of that. But you very rarely will see the Islanders beat themselves with a 3-on-2 or 2-on-1 against them. They always have the men coming back, which is so very important.
There is Ludwig clearing it out. Nyland over on this side, hopping in there with the short, choppy strides. Mondu getting it back. There's a shot. Nothing on that shot by Hamel, and he was away wide with it. LaFontaine is now on the ice, and he back passes. The punt that's intercepted Mondu. Over to Naslund, a sharp angle shot. And Ludwig going in there. He was bumped by Gilbert. Naslund coming to the other side, took a swipe at it. And it hopped over the glass off Morrow.
Well, the last couple of minutes, the Canadiens have had good pressure, but how many good scoring chances have they had?
We mentioned that Dave Newell, just after coming back after being patched up with the hand injury, there's an accident waiting to happen out there tonight. Boy, poor Dave, he's really been caught in the middle of it. Now they put a sign up. We might hear a bit of a cheer, maybe not. Billy Smith has broken Glenn Hall's playoff record for minutes played. So, Danny, that milestone moment that you mentioned has passed.
And the fans are not terribly impressed over the fact that a guy has played 6,900 minutes in the playoffs.
Not as impressed as you are.
Well, we were trying to fill in. We had to use something. No, I don't want to belittle that. I think that's an enormous mark by Smith. Now Robinson in there, clearing it up on the right side. Hotman playing it in. It goes to the corner. Tonelli trying to pass it out. Here's Deneen winding up with a shot. It's loose in front of the net. And the Canadiens starting out. Walter in on the right side to Smith, getting in front is Hunter. And Hotman was there for the Islanders. Here's Smith. Smith getting it into Walter. Back it goes. Chelios over this side. Robinson shooting it. And Smith is down. And into the corner, a couple of players, Smith and Trottier. And the puck is under Trottier.
Well, I'll tell you, Billy Smith was down, Gary. I don't think he knew where the puck was on that, because he looked one way and then the other. I don't think it ever really made the net. Now, there's Alan Thicke, a familiar figure to television viewers on both sides of the border. Alan at the game tonight. He's a great hockey fan. He'll be part of the first ever NHL award show, a celebration of excellence, to be televised on the CBC network Monday evening, June the 4th. A black tie affair in Toronto. All proceeds from the dinner, jointly sponsored by the NHL and Diabetes Canada, will be used to further research and education as part of a Diabetes Canada 5-year plan. That's Monday night, June 4th, the awards presentation.
9:07 left in the second period. Will this be the night that the final chapter in the exciting and surprising playoff story of the Canadiens for '84 will be written? Or will there be another night? Will there be another chapter on Tuesday? Right now, it's 2-0. And there is Schutt turning with Shabbat. Lafleur gathering speed on the wing. Lafleur coming in. Lafleur around the net. He centered it in front. And let's see, an interference call.
Steve Schutt was dumped. Brent Sutter and Boudelier were there, and Brent Sutter now goes to the penalty box. Live on CBC, this is Stanley Cup 84. 11:14, the time of the interference penalty to Brent Sutter. As you look at it again, Gary, you know, the Canadiens have now been taking the play to New York.
Well, have they ever? They've enjoyed that territorial advantage. Again, though, Dick, the good scoring chances have not been there, but they are certainly getting involved in the action.
There's Smith over to Naslund, back to Robinson, the shot, rebound. And Trottier cleared it down the ice. The Canadiens on the power play, they have Naslund, Walter, Smith, Robinson, and Chelios. The Islanders defending with Trottier and Gillies up front. On defense, Morrow and Potvin. And Gilbert sending Montreal back down the ice. If there had been just a modicum of success on the power play in this series for the Canadiens, they wouldn't be in the position they're in now. The Islanders have been very, very tough to crack, and the Canadiens have been on the power play. There's Naslund in over the line, feeding it in there. Smith behind the net, Morrow clearing it. Naslund handing it off to Smith. Now Robinson corrals it at the line, but he doesn't get it securely, and it's out over the line. Robinson playing it to Chelios. And the Canadiens look disorganized and a bit befuddled because of the very effective forechecking by Goring and Tonelli. Now Montreal trying it again with Smith in over the line. The drop pass. Naslund getting it back. Offside.
Now there's a case of Larry Robinson being a tired hockey player, can't really get up in the play, was a late arriving for that pass because of all the ice time that he's had in this series.
30 seconds left in the Brent Sutter penalty. Chris Chelios on the bench. Born in Chicago, grew up for the Maine in San Diego, California. Played some junior hockey in Moose Jaw. Went to the University of Wisconsin, from there to the U.S. Olympic team. And again, one of the young men who came directly from Sarajevo to the National Hockey League.
Well, if you play in Moose Jaw, you're not very far from Regina.
Right.
Now Ludwig, jammed out of the play by Morrow. Mondeau giving it to Lafleur. 18 seconds left in the penalty. Green takes the shot. Loose puck in front of it. They bang away on it. And it rolls to the corner. Now here's Schutt getting it back. Ludwig. A shot back into Schutt behind the net. Lafleur trying to get it away from Johnsson. And Morrow has it. And Brent Sutter is under the penalty box. Sutter over to Billy Carroll. Good back checking there by Lafleur. So all in all, Canadian power play was not terribly impressive. How much of that was due to the great checking of the Islanders? How much was due to the ineptness of the execution by the Canadians? We cannot break it down for you in percentage. Only Gary Dornhofer can do that. Now, the Islanders coming in, Gillies upended. He went to the ice along with Hamel. Montreal, good pass by Tremblay over to Gainey. Gainey going in, takes the shot. Low and wide. Down the ice, Hamel is after it. And that is going to be icing against New York.
Now while we have this opportunity, we at Hockey Night in Canada would like to give a get well to Doug Gowan in Vancouver, who is recuperating at time. We get back soon, Doug, and enjoy tonight's hockey game.
Well, Steve Petty in the nets for the Canadiens has now seen his team go 0 for 14 on the power play. Through their last 14 attempts, the Canadiens have been blanked by the Islanders, and that is frustrating.
Danny, you just mentioned about power play and penalty killing, your specialty teams, how important that is to winning and losing of hockey games.
Well, you know, when the Islanders get an early lead, almost invariably, what ensues is not electrifying in the way of hockey, because they check, check, check. That's the way to do it to win, but it's not the type of hockey that's going to pull you out of your seats in the rink or get you sitting on top of the television set. Now there's Flatley clearing it down the ice. So we're getting into that area where we're going to have icings. That's the second consecutive one called against the Islanders. 5:27 the time left in the second period. 2-0. The Islanders over the Canadiens.
And looking ahead, if there is a seventh game in this series, and Al Arbor certainly hopes there is not, it will be played at the Montreal Forum Tuesday night. We'll be on the air at 7:30 Eastern Time. And if there is not a seventh game, game one of the finals will be played here at the Nassau Coliseum next Thursday night. And of course, Hockey Night in Canada will cover the entire Stanley Cup final round.
Canadiens with the defense of Green and Chelios. They're in over the Islanders' line. And the Islanders knock it back from the face-off. Chelios. A pass at center, broken up by Flatley. He fell, but he got the pass away to Gilbert. Brent Sutter is the other forward for the Islanders. Canadiens at close quarters. Finally get it to the line, led by Shabbat, who gets it over on the far left wing, and that is offside.
You know, when hockey teams draft, it's one thing to draft good, outstanding young players, but I think, Gary, when you're an established team like the Islanders have become, you also like to draft people that will fit into your mold, and Greg Gilbert certainly seems to be one. He had the 2 goals and the big win here earlier on in the series. Good young hockey player of the Toronto Marlies.
The list goes on, doesn't it? Yeah, it seems that every player that the Islanders put on the ice can do the job. And, you know, that's one thing about the character of players. You know, when you're not sitting out, I guess the thing to do would be to pout. But the Islanders
They work hard in practice, and when the time comes to perform, they do exactly that.
And you know you're going to have a Stanley Cup check of a substantial nature in May. It's not easy to pout.
Speaking of pouting, Mark Hunter and Clark Gillies weren't too happy with each other. Now, hang on. Hunter has to be grabbed by linesman Stickle as he tried to get back at Gillies. But they now head to the penalty boxes. So with 4:50 left in the second period, the teams will be playing 5-a-side. Mark Gillies in the penalty box. So is Mark Hunter. They have gone off slashing on both players. That's 15-10.
And the Islanders in front 2-0. Potvin getting it back to Johnson. Carroll goes over on the left side. Potvin is going to lug it out. Here's Johnson with the pass. They take their time. They move in. Potvin fakes the shot right in front. Fontaine coming in there. And lost it as he cut in front of Penny. Penny, I think, has been shaken up. There's a shot by Walters. Ludwig trying to get in front, and the angle was very severe, and he couldn't get the puck on to the net. LaFontaine with Carroll in over the line. Carroll has it, and it's called on the offside with 4 minutes and 4 seconds left in the second period.
Steve Penny involved in a bit of a collision with Pat LaFontaine and Jean Hamel, the Canadiens defenseman who broke his stick on the play. He seems to be okay. LaFontaine making his first start in this series. Penny has to adjust the equipment. Here's what happened.
Well, that was quite a pass by Dennis Potvin as he set LaFontaine up. Nowhere to go but over Penny. And there is conversation around the goal now in the Montreal end as Penny is readjusting his equipment and getting ready to go.
Now we get a discussion between Brian Trottier and Dave Newell. The line, the whistle was blown originally on the offside call on the 2-on-2 break, which LaFontaine and Trottier is arguing about. 1:14 remain on the penalties. Gillies and Hunter are in the box.
And that area for the face-off right there, you're looking at the penalty box and Gillies, but we get out there on the ice now. That's just outside the Canadiens line. Here's Morrow waiting and slides a pass up on the right side to Trottier. Trottier is knocked into the boards by Green. Green trying to work from the corner area. Robinson has it. We're down to 3 minutes and 42 seconds left in this, the second period. Robinson coming out. In on the left side to Naslund. There's the shot. Off his glove. Boudelier taking over for the Islanders. It's been a rather quiet, methodically played game so far. 2-0 the Islanders. A pass on the other side. Here's Bossy. Playing it back to Morrow. The Islanders just passing it back and forth. There are 18 seconds left in the penalty. To Hunter and Gillies. Not much happening right here. As a matter of fact, nothing. Now Boudelier. Ahead to Trottier. Over the line to Bossy. Back it goes to Boudelier. Going in. And an enormous save there by Penny. And Robinson cleared the rebound. Hunter under the penalty box. Robinson in over the line. Here's Robinson. Getting set to pass it maybe to Lafleur, who goes into the corner after it. Lafleur's attempted pass to get it in front, but off Gillies. Robinson back in for Lafleur. Here's Gainey. Naslund is getting in front. Gainey to Naslund. Naslund still with it. Lafleur was covered, and Morrow takes over for the Islanders. Morrow with Sutter and Trottier. They clear it in there, and then the Islanders making changes while the play goes on, and Chuck gathering speed. He hits the line and drop pass to Chelios. Good move by Chelios. He shot it in there. Another shot. And Gillies had an outstanding scoring opportunity after making that very elusive move to his right. Here's Shutt. Back to the line to Chelios. Chelios flicked it in there over the top of the net. Here's Lafleur. Lafleur dropping it to Smith. Smith trying to center it against Potvin. Lafleur couldn't come up with it, and Sutter just got rid of it, and the Islanders are going to be called for icing again. And the face-off back in New York territory, 1:28 left in the second period.
Well, I'll tell you, the Islanders aren't out of the woods yet in this one. The Canadiens bench is really alive. All the players through that last stretch around the Islanders net on their feet, hollering, yelling. And it's still just a 2-0 hockey game. And, Gary, it's been that way for quite a while.
Dick, the Canadiens can't be criticized for not working because they certainly are working the corners, pounding into the Islanders at every opportunity.
Boudelaire's shot was saved by Penny. Watch Robinson right there with Trottier moving in at the goal crease, but Robinson cleared it away.
You know, from a player standpoint, like the Montreal Canadiens, they have to be very frustrated to apply all that pressure and not get the puck past Billy Smith, or even get a good scoring chance, a good clear shot from 15 feet out. It just hasn't happened.
And now let us see what will happen here. Face off to the right of Smith. We have Naslund, Mondeau, Tremblay, Chelios, and Ludwig. They're all in over the Islanders' line. And the Islanders out there with Flatley, Trottier, and Brent Sutter. As Chelios whipping it in there from center. Morrow up on the wing. That is down into Canadiens territory. Now Gilbert comes off the bench to take over from Trottier. Naslund twisting and turning. Fired it in. They had 4 players strewn across the line. As the Canadiens tried to penetrate, so they had to shoot it in. Less than a minute to go in the period. Ludwig back after it. Mondeau ahead to Tremblay. Tremblay to Naslund. Naslund with the head fake. Dropping it back. But Potvin is there for the Islanders. Ahead to Gilbert, trailing his Flatley at the line. Offside. Did that puck actually come out over the line?
Leon Stickel ruled it did. Brent Sutter and Mats Naslund got involved in a bit of a pushing match. Everybody gathering round and trying or making like they want to get into the act. Brent Sutter's first short-handed goal in the NHL came in Montreal 2 nights ago and proved to be the winner in the Islanders' 3-1 lead that gave them the 3-2 series lead in games.
I think I talked with Brent this morning about the face-offs that they take in their own zone. You know, it's either Trottier or Sutter, and they talk about it before going in the face-off. If one has had more success than the other, he will take the draw. And in case the reason that 2 of them are out there, if one gets thrown out, the other centerman just moves right in. But that has taken quite a load off of Trottier because we saw in last year's playoffs, Trottier took all the face-offs in his own end of the ice.
And it is Trottier facing off right now against Carbonneau. 26 seconds left in the second period. Robinson shoveled it out to Carbonneau to Walter at the line, broken up by Potvin. Youngsman with Carbonneau forechecking. Islanders content to pass it back and forth to kill off the clock for the rest of this period. They get it out over the line. A half dozen seconds left, and the score at the end of the second period is 2-0 for the Islanders.
Again, sorry, Dick, the Canadiens must be very frustrated because they had another good period. They carried the play to the Islanders, worked and worked and worked, but just cannot get that good scoring chance.
What we saw throughout most of that period was some great textbook defensive hockey inside their own line on the part of the Islanders. So the Canadiens leave the ice after 2 periods, still trailing by that 2-0 score. Here again, Brian McFarland.
And Dick, the Canadiens 20 minutes away from elimination. They just can't beat Billy Smith. Oops.
I knew I'd forget that microphone sometime tonight. Here we are. Billy Smith is yet to be scored on tonight, and the boys were talking earlier about great playoff goaltenders. Billy Smith certainly one of them, as was Bernie Parent, and if they went back a few more years, they could talk about, well, Turk Broda and Terry Sawchuk and Johnny Bauer. Johnny Bauer, the man of the hour 20 years ago for Toronto, and he is the subject of Bobby Orr's Hockey Legends coming right up. Our Stanley Cup playoff coverage continues shortly with our second intermission.